Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. It's Friday, November the 4th. I'm Tony Haggerty, Haggerty10 Twitter handle, you know that. And I'm joined once again today by Aidan Macdonald, Aidan C at Aidan C Macdonald Twitter handle. How are you doing, Aidan?
Yeah, I'm good, Tony. How are you?
I'm all right. Now, first things first, we do our domestic chores ourselves, don't we, Aidan? And we direct you to the strapline running across the bottom. I've always got a deal for you. This deal is £1 for 2 months of full access to everything that we do on the website, everything that's written. And all you have to do is hit a button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. That's £1 for 2 months of full access. You'll read everything that we do that we write on the website. A couple of pieces on today. I'll post the links to them later on in the programme, and also you get access to morning briefings like this. You get to see Cheery Tony and Cheery Aidan on a daily basis, and also Cheery Sean. And that right, Aidan? We like to keep things upbeat, don't we? Oh, Aidan's Wi-Fi connection might have gone there. He's frozen. Here's hoping he comes back into the room as soon as possible. Are you back, Aidan?
Indeed.
You dropped out there for a second. We had a still of you smiling, and I was saying you were cheery, so that was all good. You know what I mean? So tremendous. Now, Aidan, from the Bernabeu to paradise, Celtic back to the domesticity, Scottish Premiership League game against Dundee United. Happy memories of Dundee United this season. Slammed them for 9 at Tannadice. A repeat of that.
Yeah, if it was a similar performance to the game at Tannadice, that wouldn't be too bad, would it, Tony? I would take even half of those amount of goals, to be honest. Obviously, I'm sure it'll be a tough game, but it's also a really important game. You know, with these sort of three matches before the World Cup break, it's a chance for Celtic to get a wee bit of momentum back after some Champions League disappointment. So it'll be a tough game, I'm sure.
Pete McGee's in a confident mood, Aidan. 10-0, he asks the question, poses the question. What a way to start the pod, eh? A 10-0 win for Celtic. I'm sure all the Celtic fans would love that, Pete McGee. Stranger things have happened. Yeah, I mean, Celtic to be fair to Celtic, domestically, 6-game winning streak, both Premiership and League Cup games, Aidan, going for a magnificent 7, if you want to call it that, on the bounce. Do you see Celtic doing that? You said there's 3 important games before the World Cup starts. They really do want to collect all 9 points, but not looking too far ahead. First things first, take care of business on Saturday and be, as I said the other day, clinical, professional and ruthless when they can.
Yeah, I think domestically, ever since the sort of tune game, but fingers crossed, obviously Celtic are able to get the 3 points.
Some gremlins affecting your Wi-Fi, Aidan. Are you still with us, or are you, because you keep dropping in and out? Young Aidan's having problems here. You all right? You still here, Aidan? Yeah. Quite a nice freeze frame, that, isn't it, of Aidan smiling, guys? Are you with us? You back in the room, Aidan? Yeah. Sam Hartley coming in here.
Yeah.
Tony
should be
all quicker this morning than a bad and Kyogo. Indeed. We're fighting the mercy of technology here, guys, so bear with us, if you can. Now, Aidan, do you see a lot of changes being made without giving too much away? Because we're going to do our predicted lineups, but you saw the likes of Carl Starfelt coming back in the Bernabeu. Do you see him staying in situ for the visit of the Tangerines?
I think he will, unless there's been any sort of wee niggles over training the last couple of days. I'd imagine Ange and the coaching staff will want him to just be playing as many minutes as possible for him to try and get back to full fitness, Tony. So I would expect that Starfelt will be involved from the start.
Beach Boys comes in and gives us his team: Hart, Ralston, Starfelt, Jens, Bernabeu, Abelgard, O'Reilly, Turnbull, Jota, Georges Giakoumakis and Haksabanovic. That's a few changes there. It's a That's a team to conjure with, Aidan, and he also gives us a scoreline, 3-0. There you go. The Beach Boys' team, guys. If you want to throw in your own team, you can throw them into the comment section and let us know. And as I said, there's a couple of pieces that are up on the comment section today. I wrote one about pundits having a go at Celtic and saying that they were naive. And I've couched it with the premise, they're not listening. They wouldn't listen. They're not listening still. Perhaps they never will. Famous line from a song, Starry, Starry Night by Don McLean. And it's my take on why Ange isn't going to change. And if people aren't listening, they're not listening to the way Celtic are heading under Ange. But I'm looking at that team, Beach Boys. There's many changes there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's about 6 or 7 changes there, as he made. 5, 6, yeah. 6 or 7 changes. Do you go with that team, Aidan? Do you like that team? Do you like the look of that team?
I do like the look of that team. I would be quite happy if that was the sort of lineup that was to start. I know some people might have their preference between Kyogo or Yakimakis, but at the moment, I'm quite happy with them because they have been scoring goals. So
yes, indeed. Jota coming back in as well. And on the subject of Jota, I'll put in another link. I wrote a digest piece about Jota and his Bernabeu cameo, and I'll stick that into the comment section if you want to have a wee read at that as well. Just that he fulfilled a wee dream scoring in that stage of the Champions League with Celtic, and you might enjoy it. It's worth a wee read at that. There you go. As I say, we're fighting the gremlins with Aidan, but we'll continue to do so, guys. But now here's a comment, Aidan, that I quite, John McBurney comes in and says he wants Big Joe to be benched. He wants Joe Hart to make way for Siegrist. Siegrist, obviously former Dundee United goalkeeper, would maybe relish a chance of going in between the sticks against him. Is that something that you're on board with? Would you like to see that happen, or do you think Big Joe's still done enough to deserve the gloves?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? I don't think he was particularly bad against Real Madrid. I know people were saying that overall he's maybe got to be doing a wee bit better from penalties, but it is a hard one. If Siegrist was to come in, I wouldn't have any sort of aversions to it, but I think at the moment, Ange will probably be sticking with Joe Hart, Tony.
Okay. And Pete McGee comes in to say, Beach Boys, that's a disrupted team that could trip up. He's not buying it. He's not buying what you're selling, Beach Boys. I think he thinks there's too many changes there. Well, the manager likes to throw curveballs, and we'll find out who's fit and who's not later on today when Ange does the press briefing before the game. And also we'll mention before the game, Aidan, Celtic EGM takes place today, doesn't it? I believe it's 11:30. 11:30, yeah. And I'll have the onerous task of deciphering that, Aidan. I think that expression that I use a lot, 4 gallon and a 2 gallon head, springs to mind. But if you check the website later on, I'll try and make head nor tail of it. And yes, we'll see how that goes. I did it last year miraculously, so I'll try and pull off another miracle again. Michael Ross asks, will Abogard ever play? Well, we'll soon see. And Pete McGee comes in and says, Dundee United knows Siegrist's weak spot, so why would we play him? Well, there you go. That's a school of thought as well, Aidan, isn't it? Now, as I said, already alluded to, Celtic beat Dundee United 9-0 back in August. That done for Jack Ross. Position as the manager, got a new manager, Liam Fox, but Dundee United on a 3-game losing streak, Aidan. So Celtic hoping to make it 4. And usually when Celtic come off the back of European games, they've been all right, haven't they? I think St Mirren apart, isn't it? They've been pretty flawless.
Yeah, this season really, outside of the St Mirren game, when they've been coming off European matches, Celtic have been relatively sound in terms of the results. And given that you just listed sort of Dundee United's recent form, it is probably not a bad time to be playing them. So hopefully I've not tempted fate saying that, but fingers crossed.
Touch wood and all that. Would you shake it up, Aidan? Would you make a lot of changes like Beach Boy has, keep it fresh, or he's brought in the likes of Ralston and Bernaby. I know Ralston and Bernaby domestically, when they've played, haven't let the manager down and they've showed up very well. So it might be a game for those kind of guys.
Yeah, it could be. Obviously, given that there's sort of 3 games before the World Cup break, I'd imagine whatever the strongest team Postecoglou has in his head, that'll be who plays. I don't think there'll be as much rotation as we've seen, obviously, over the last few weeks when there's been Champions League games in between. But the sort of team that the commenter put up there, I'd be quite happy with that. I wouldn't have any issues. But I know some people would maybe rather, like I was saying earlier, have Kyogo, etc. in the team. But I'd be happy with that lineup if Andrews to put that out.
Some people going early, Aidan. 4-1 Celtic, says Michael Duffin. Charlie Johnson says 5-0 Celtic. You said you would settle for half of those goals or half of 10. And Mike Pete McGee said 10-0. So Charlie's gone for half of 10-0. So that's 5-0 to Celtic. Yeah, I still think there's a lot of confidence and optimism abound with Celtic. I think there was a lot of positive to take from the other night. Nobody likes getting beat 5-1. Even the manager alluded to it. But he was also sort of saying these guys are growing into the way we play. But domestically, they seem to have the beating of most teams on their part this season. But that was an off day, an oddity in Celtic's season so far, or an oddity in the past year domestically with Ange. So, you do rely, or you count on the team to turn up most times. In the team that Ange puts out, you do know that they're going to give their all. And I think they are, when they come back off European matches, they've been quite clinical and ruthless. And I think tomorrow's another example where if he does shake it up, that you still trust the players to go out and do the job.
Yeah, exactly. And it gives the fans plenty of confidence, and it shows how in certain positions the squad depth is quite strong. If the manager's changing the starting 11 and you're still going out and getting a win, you can't really complain about that, can you?
No, true. And Robert Gibson says that was a truly. It was, Robert. I think I think it was an oddity. It was a blip, and it's kind of shown that it was a blip because there was no kind of hangover from that. Celtic have recovered and started to play some good stuff, scoring a lot of goals again, and they've got their domestic groove back certainly. Neil Reid, complete confidence in Ange that you'll have the players in the right frame of mind for the weekend. Yeah, I like that comment, Neil. I actually agree with that, and I think he's got an uncanny knack of doing that, Aidan, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's very good at getting his team up for games. Even in the European matches, we know disappoint. So that's going to.
You're cutting in and out again, Aidan. I guess it's just the Wi-Fi connection wherever you are. It's as I say, the old Norman Collier speak there. But sorry, what did you say there? We'll go back to that because you were making a point.
I was just going to say, obviously, even though the Champions League games have been disappointing, we've seen how Celtic were coming flying out the traps during them, and that must be a mentality thing from Postecoglou. So I have no doubt, like the comment I was saying there, that they'll be right up for this game.
Do you now? We watched Jota come on and make an impact against Livingston. Watched Jota come on and make an impact in the Bernabeu. He has to play tomorrow, doesn't he?
I would say so. I think I'd be quite surprised unless there's a major fitness issue if he's not on from the start. And the fans will want to see him as well. 2 goals in the last 2 games, despite not being on the field that long in either match. So I'd imagine Jota right from the beginning.
Excellent. I would put Jota in myself to the team because just Celtic are a different team when Jota plays. They really are. He's a gem of a footballer. You pay your admission money to watch Jota alone, wouldn't you? Because he just produces something a bit different, doesn't he? And he's got that ability to do that. Now,
yeah,
he
provides those sort of World Cup magic moments. He's just Jota, how he's the sort of guy that you would want in your team all the time. So definitely.
I mean, it's a credit to him that he said he's never represented Portugal national team. He's in the provisional squad. I think it might be too soon, but his time will come, won't it, Aidan, at international level?
Yeah, I think it will eventually. Whether that happens at Celtic or elsewhere, if he continues on this sort of run of form, particularly in the Champions League, etc., I'm sure he'll get an international call-up eventually.
Sam Harty, certain starter. Couldn't agree more, Sam. Picture the first dial up at Aidan's. Geyser's coming in saying, Aidan, you need to use an Ethernet cable, bro, or keep the mobiles turned off. They're stealing your Wi-Fi. There you go. Everybody's got advice, haven't they, Aidan? Doesn't matter if it's for yourself or myself or Ange Postecoglou. Everybody's good at doling out advice. Eh? There you go.
They're not wrong. They're not wrong, to be fair.
There's your Wi-Fi written under your bed. It's like watching a film for Keep the comments coming in again. And another chance, Aidan, to put pressure on Rangers at the top.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even though the potential only be for 20, that's massive. So definitely, it allows you to put a bit of pressure on Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, it's Celtic could extend their lead to 7, couldn't they, for 24 hours? And I think you have to take these opportunities when they come along and see what happens the following day. Guys are coming back in. It's not advice, it's just a tip. There you go, talking about Aidan's return. But no, I'm all for that in terms of when Celtic get that chance to extend their lead at the top, and got to take it and be professional and just do the job. 3 points, doesn't matter if it's 1-0, 5-0, 9-0, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's just get a win on the board. 3 wins before the World Cup break, Aidan, is imperative for Celtic, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say it is. It's really important that you get maximum points during those games, because after that there's no football for 5 weeks, so you do not want to be going into that break disappointed with your results. It's really important to keep momentum up, because as you mentioned, Tony, outside of the St Mirren game, they've been pretty flawless domestically this year, so you want to keep it going.
Now, Celtic during that break will be heading to Australia, Aidan, and bad news for Celtic fans is that the Celtic v in the UK, that is, the Celtic v Everton match kick-off time in the Sydney Cup has been changed to 2:45 Australian time, which means it's going to be a 3:45 a.m. kick-off back home, Aidan. And as Sean was telling me off air, that's a wee glimpse into what it's like for those Celtic supporters who regularly watch the games in Australia. So you'll be getting up at 4:45, guys, to watch Celtic v Everton in the Sydney Cup. Like it or lump it, that's the way it is. The game time has changed. But yeah, you can have a wee touch of the Australian Celtic supporters club medicine when they get up early and their devotion to watching their club. But yeah, I think it's good to maybe experience something like that, Aidan, isn't it? And get that feel for how Australian supporters of Celtic do it themselves. You know, they talk about getting up at dick duck o'clock and following their team, and I love that. I think it's great. So early rise, Aidan, for the Everton Celtic game in the Sydney Cup. Can you cope with that?
We'll see. We'll see at the time when it comes around. Like you say, it's something a bit different for the fans over here. We're lucky to be able to watch pretty much every game the exact time it's kicking off, and it always suits us. So yeah, it's a bit of a change, and it's obviously good for the Australian fans as well.
It's going to be a probably early morning briefing live at 3 a.m. in the morning pod, something like that. Aidan, that'd be a laugh, wouldn't it? All bleary-eyed. But yeah, but not looking forward to that. Put you there first. He's going to Sydney for that game. Got a message today. Time change. Couldn't believe it was running back 5 hours. Yeah, there you go. Simon Thomas. We do it every week, Tony. Yeah, I know you do. And I think it's good for supporters over this side of the water to experience that and see what it's like to actually do that. And I guess Celtic supporters all over the world are devoted to their club. It doesn't matter what time they're playing at, they'll make the kick-off and they would do that. So good on you. Appreciate that, and appreciate you tuning into the podcast and the daily briefing as well. Thank you for that, Simon. Been watching Celtic on New Zealand time since 2007. It's even worse than Aussie time, says Jamie 7121. Jamie, I'd doff my cap to that, sir. Well done. Like that. Robert Gibson says, I get up for almost every game to go to work knackered. That's how I do it. There you go. But no, it's something to look forward to. Celtic playing Everton in the Sydney Cup, and it's looming large, isn't it? That game, I think, November the 20th. Not long to go now, but as you say, Celtic have got a hectic schedule before that, Aidan, and hopefully they can reel off 3 domestic wins before they head down under, and Andy's homecoming, and that'll be something special for the manager of the club. But first things first, tomorrow you've got to take care of Dundee United, and the 9-0 game, they've got that in the bank, but that'll have no bearing on what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, no, it won't, and you would imagine that Ange will be very clear when he's speaking to the players before, do not be complacent. Just because you put 9 goals by this team last time does not mean that's going to be the case. Since then, obviously they've been on a wee bit of a poor run, but they have changed manager, probably changed the way they play a wee bit tactically. So it's going to be a tough game, Tony, no doubt about that, and it's absolutely imperative that Celtic start off this sort of mini run before the break of hopefully getting maximum points with a win tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, we've spoken about Starfelt. You reckon he'll retain his place. We've spoken about Jota coming back in, a certain starter. There's always the Giakoumakis Kyogo debate, isn't there, Aidan? I don't know if you prefer one over the other. Or did anyone against Real Madrid the other night earn the right to start on Saturday? I don't know where you'll fall on that. You'll probably keep that for your predicted lineups, but there are good headaches to have for the manager at times, isn't there?
No, of course. I mean, you can never have too many good players. Do you know what I mean? It's really important that Celtic have got this squad depth, and just without spoiling the predicted lineups, just to touch on the Giakoumakis and Kyogo thing, it is maybe a wee bit of a cop-out answer, but I think it does depend what sort of the opposition is. You'd obviously mentioned before, Tony, the aspect, but then obviously when it comes to maybe like European games or games when you're maybe having to be a wee bit more technical, it's be better to have Kyogo. So yeah, either or tomorrow would be fine for me.
Yes, we'll decide that in the predicted lineups. We always do the predicted lineups before every game, and Ange usually makes a mug out of us, doesn't he, Aidan? Although we've been not too bad, a couple of 10s recently, isn't that right? Well, Aidan's Wi-Fi's gone again. Unbelievable. Fighting technology, guys. Frightening, isn't it? But we'll see if he comes back. Oh, he's back in the room. Oh, there we go. He's disappeared completely. Yeah, he's back. The Gremlins, Aidan, was fighting them. Everything all right? Okay now? Clearly not. Give us a song, Tony. Indeed. No, you don't want to hear me singing. Right, he's back. Look, there's movement there. He's back. Oh, Aidan, I feel for you. There is nothing worse, isn't there? Especially when you're on a live pod. Sorry, troops, can be helped. Technology at its finest and its worst. There you have it. Simon Thomas, are you coming to Sydney, Tony? Still hopeful of that. I'll let you know. Listen, you'll hear me. Don't you worry about that. You'll hear me on the pod if I'm coming to Sydney. Don't worry about that. But there you go. And Jamie7121 asks a question: is CCV fit for the United game? Cameron Carter Vickers. Well, we'll find out today, won't we, Aidan, later on?
Yeah, we will. Hopefully as available, because having him and Starfelt together would be massive for this sort of run and for the rest of the season, because it was a really important central defensive partnership last year that didn't concede a lot of goals domestically. So fingers crossed.
And yeah, without a doubt, Sam Hartley is asking Aidan's playing hard to get this morning. And William Lamont comes in and says Hatate must be our penalty taker from now on, Tony. Well, that's the thing, Aidan. You said the other day that you believed that Juranovic should still resume the penalty duties because he's got 5 out of 6 now. You said there's no reason he missed one. That happens. But you would still back Juranovic. If Juranovic is off the pitch and Giakoumakis isn't there, would you trust Hatate to take the penalties?
Hatate is a very technical player. I wouldn't have any issue with him taking the penalty, Tony. I still think I would just keep Juranovic on it, purely just because he's scored 5 out of his last 6. I know in between that, Giakoumakis, etc., has missed another penalty as well, but take it off him just because he's missed them.
Willie Ferguson says, why not give Jota a shot at penalties? And Kevin Ferrier also says Jota to take the penalties. I would imagine if Juranovic is not on the pitch. Juranovic away in January. So, according to Beach Boys, Jota or Haksabanovic to take the penalties. Well, I wouldn't be. But listen, I don't care who takes the penalties as long as they score them. I mean, that's the bottom line. I'm happy if they score. Disappointed when they missed. And I was disappointed with Juranovic's effort the other night. I just thought he made it easier for the keeper. But and Seanan Short comes in and says he's missed one penalty. Dry your eyes and come on. Yeah. And my eyes are dry. Seanan, I'm fine with it. He's missed a penalty. Just other commenters were saying about other players taking penalties. That was all. Just brought it up in the trust Tatati. He is such a special footballer, says Sam Harty. Geyser comes in and says Taylor penalty taker, left peg on them. That's what we need. That's a view as well, I suppose. I don't know if Aidan's dropped out completely. I'm hoping to get his prediction if he comes back in. But you throw your predictions into the comment section, guys. That would be greatly appreciated. We'll see how it goes. I'm wondering if Aidan's going to come back. Hopefully he does. Yeah, there he is. Excellent. You're back in the room. We were just killing time till you got back, Aidan. We'll probably wind it up now and then we'll just go with a scoreline prediction, Aidan. Yeah. You couldn't make that up, guys. There you go, eh? Are you back with us, Aidan? Are you permanently grinning on your screen?
I heard was that predictions you were asking for there, Tony?
I was just asking for a scoreline prediction, Aidan, before we wrap up. Yeah, it's been a tough old gig for you today, so we'll just go for a scoreline prediction, eh?
Yeah. I'll go for 3-0 Celtic.
3-0 Celtic. Okay, I'll go 4-0. Yeah, I'll go 4-0 Celtic. There you go. Nice one. Guys, we've been fighting the elements today. I feel for young Aidan. There's nothing worse. Yeah, it is a shocking connection, Robert. We get that. There's not a lot we can do about it. But we'll battle through. Celtic play Dundee United tomorrow. Hopefully looking to make it 7 wins in a row. Extend our lead at the top to 7 points for 24 hours at least. We'll reconvene on Monday and we'll talk all about it. But thank you for your comments. Appreciate it, guys. Aidan, the Wi-Fi letting you down, partner. But there you go. We muddled through somehow. All right. Thanks for your contribution, bud. Always appreciate it. All right. Have a great weekend, guys. Remember the AGM at 11:30 today. Remember to check the web. We'll have a report up on that. And we'll have the usual Q&As from the managers and the players when they come out after the preview of the game. And last thing, subscribe. £1 for 2 months of full access to everything that's written in the pod. You just hit that button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. Result dependent, of course, it always is. Aidan, cheers. Top man. Thanks a lot.